Hey, what's going on, guys? We are back with another episode of the PokeTalk podcast. Here again with Phillip. What is going on?
Hey, not too much. It's been quite the last couple weeks. Not so much Pokemon, but for us.
Yeah, we both are tackling COVID. So
I'm done at this point, but yeah.
Yeah, I'm on the back end of it. Still a little stuffy with some drainage going on, so might be a little cough here and there, but gonna try to keep this one a little shorter just for that reason. But yeah, I guess the big thing is we're gonna kind of recap Worlds, talk a little bit about a PSA order, unfortunate event for you.
Yeah.
Which I guess turned fortunate.
Yeah, it actually
So.
did. I mean, somehow I was able to turn best case scenario just about.
Yeah. So I have a similar story that I'll share that I think I've covered before.
Well,
but
yeah, you have, for sure.
Yeah. So yeah, I guess let's hop on into that because we did kind of talk a little bit about our PSA order. If you want to start with that, or we can start with some news.
Yeah, I mean, that's fine. So the Vagabond Charizard. So I got news, I guess it was last week, that the card failed authentication. I'm like, what? And it was weird because I had a dream like a few nights before. I was like, what if it fails authentication? Just like, for some reason. It was really weird too. Like, I literally just had like a dream about this too. And it did. But obviously it wasn't because the card was fake. It somehow got not even manhandled, but rotary, some sort of conveyor belt handled. Because if you look at it, the way the damage on the back is, the plastic isn't. I mean, it is cracked a little bit, but it's frayed.
Uh-huh.
And the only thing that would cause something like that is if it was wedged in between something. And I'm glad I put bubble wrap around this too.
So basically, like, got to authentication, and then they denied it because it was damaged, right?
And it wasn't accurate to the photos. And I'm like, you say what?
What'd you call me?
That happened on your end, not my end. But yeah, I mean it's pretty bad. Luckily though, it is not over the actual Charizard. Now I still don't know if it's worth. I was gonna look into it. But I was gonna see like the total cost of potentially getting reholdered, and I can't really put it on eBay though. And okay, so this is what happened. So obviously it failed authentication.
Yeah, you had another mishap with that too.
Yes, I did. And because I've never had to deal with a return, and I guess I wasn't aware that I had no return address on file. So because of that, it went to whatever address was used when the account began. Well, I moved in 2022. And
I figured they would ask because, like, you were in direct communication with the guy too.
And it's been 3 years. I mean, I guess you probably can't see on your end. Well, you kind of can, right? If there's no return address, and they said they can't see my address, is what they said. They could only see the return address, and there wasn't anything. So, but they could see in the account the address that I had on file when I began it. So they sent it to that address, and so me dealing with COVID, I got, oh, it's arrived. I was like, okay, all right, I'm gonna go see what this thing looks like.
But it's also messed up too, because like, yeah, I guess you should have had the return address on there, but it's messed up for them to use your sign-up address because, yeah, it's like you figure there'd be lots of issues with them not using a return address. So, like, if you had none on file and then they use just an old address, even though you probably should have had one, but it's like they should not just go ahead and assume like, okay, well, we'll just send it here. You know, I think that's kind of where it went in your favor, where they're like, okay, yeah, we messed up, and they went ahead
Well,
and
they
refunded you.
technically, well, they were the authenticator didn't cast any judgment. The person who I talked to, and the eBay's authentication, but it was obviously implied that like, yeah, you're supposed to have it. But I was like, well, dude, I've never had a return, and you know, what do you think? It was kind of weird the difference in addresses, and that's when he was like, well, we can't really see that. I was like, okay, that makes a little more sense. But anyways, he spoke to his higher up, and when he told me after he already told me which address it was, he was like, okay, I'll call you back. Now, before I called eBay, which was a shit show, just trying to do that. I swear, it's like I'm just yelling, representative, representative,
I need an
and
elder.
and they're like, would you like representative? Eventually it says, okay, we will forward you to a representative right now. I was like, oh, thank God. But
Immediately.
before then, I talked to USPS, and that's when it was like, okay, we can't tell you the address on file. But that's when I found out it wasn't the same address as what my address was. And that was actually fairly easy to get a hold of. USPS customer service is actually surprisingly decent, at least during this time of year.
Mm-hmm.
And anyways, I was like, okay. See, what I was thinking was, I was like, they couldn't possibly send it as my old address. That makes no sense. It's got to have been on the USPS fault, right? Well, when he told me that, I was like, okay, I'm starting to get a little curious. And I kind of had an idea where it might have been sent since it wasn't sent at my place. But you see, I have a neighborhood cluster box. And my number that I am at is different than my box. So I thought maybe the postal worker accidentally put it into the wrong box is what I was thinking. So I was trying to go trying to get a
Yeah.
hold of who has access to that. But I was like, okay, let me go ahead and call all these people. So I kind of told the story backwards. But anyways, I went and like this is still with COVID. I was like, okay, like on a mission from God, like the Blues Brothers. I immediately got into my car and I was like, I know exactly where it's at. And I was like, let's just hope that guy doesn't check his mail very regularly, guy or girl, whatever, doesn't check his mail very regularly. I was like, okay, here we go. And there was traffic because there was a Mizzou game, so it was a shit show everywhere. Couldn't, or no, there wasn't a Mizzou game. That was the day after. But anyways, it was a hassle to try to get there. And I was like, I opened up the mailbox and I was like, I saw a box. I was like, oh, please be mine. And it says Phillip. I'm like, oh yes.
You scored.
I don't even have to knock on the door and be like, I know you have it.
Give it to me. I know
Oh,
it's here.
it's inside the house. And but I luckily didn't have to get to that because USPS wouldn't give me the address. I'm sure for that very reason, and I don't blame them.
Yeah.
But anyways, I got home. I had the package. I looked at it, and that's when I saw how like tore up it was, and kind of have an idea what probably happened. My guess is so like there's like a conveyor belt usually with these USPS where like the mail kind of floats on. My guess was it got jammed somehow either in the end of end of it or on the roller or something because it either that or it got ran over.
Mm-hmm.
One or the other. It looks like one or the other. So it's like I kind of knew what was going on. And then about 20 minutes after that, I got a phone call saying, yeah, I got to call my higher up. And they said, we're just going to go ahead and honor it. So we're just going to go ahead and give you a refund.
So yeah. So did they refund for the damage or the
So
address?
the lost item, essentially.
Yeah.
I think what that tells me is one, it was a waiver, but also they probably should have double checked, is my guess.
Yeah.
And
Because they
they
had
kind of
an
know that.
address, but they didn't officially have a return address.
And they should have with all it's one thing if it was like a random return like the customer was doing. This is authentication, okay? And I think that they kind of understood that, and
Yeah.
they did a grace thing, like a grace waiver, if you will, of the actual return. So I had already sent the return to to the buyer, or I guess eBay did, because I've seen. I'll have to look again, because last time I checked, I had yet to see any of the money taken out of withdrawal from my account. And does that mean I'm gonna get money back for the card too? And like I can't imagine that's what's gonna happen. But I mean, it's like cross go collect $200, you know.
Yeah.
And now I have the slab, and yeah, I know there's kind of a reprint going on with 151, but I would love to get it reholdered, but I can't sell it on eBay
Yeah.
for
Yeah,
for
my
the reasons
worry
I just
was that,
explained.
yeah, like if you resold it on eBay, they were like, hey, we refunded this guy for this cert. So they're like, hang on a minute. But
I mean,
yeah, it's like,
I doubt they'll get that far, but the cert would have gone through, and it's
yeah,
such just something I don't want to deal with. Especially since they did this, I don't want there to be a situation, an unknown situation, 2, 3, 4, 5 years from now that might arise, and I need a bone thrown my way.
yeah.
So I don't want to get greedy for what's essentially going to be a couple $100, you
Mm-hmm.
know, for something in the future. Which is why I don't think like I did the math. Like I'll see based on what I think the cost of it would be. I'm making I'd make more money getting it reholdered. Um, but then you have to take into account how long will that take. You know, I that's something I don't know off the top of my head that I would have to see and kind of go from there. Because if it's gonna be like 2 months, well, I'll be like, well, shit. By then the reprint's gonna be out, and it's the price is gonna drop from 330 to 260, 250. You know, so
Yeah. Yeah, I will say eBay customer support, it's really, really good and favorable if you get to that level.
yeah, that's the point. You got to
It's
get to that point.
very it's like very frustrating until you actually reach like a certain level of, I don't know, employee or boss, or I don't know their ranking system, but once you reach that first level, like you get like real people who like really look at your case, and it's not just like cut and dry, like, well, this happened, so this happened. Like they actually hear your whole story and they get back with you. Sounds like your guy got back with you multiple times.
Well, and the girl I talked to, she was actually knowledgeable. I was like, "Oh, the Charizard." I was like, "I know, I know, bro." But no, the lady I talked to was actually like she was genuinely sympathetic. She was great. She was knowledgeable. She got me to the right person. She was apologetic that when she couldn't, it took 10 minutes to get a hold of somebody from authentication. You know, like I was like, "Damn,
Uh,
this is like nice."
yeah, so the one time I had was dealing, I sold a PSA 10 Grand Party, which you may have heard about on here. Long story short, basically went to authentication, allegedly, and then
Allegedly.
arrived. Yeah, it was like going overseas. Or no, I don't even think it was
There wasn't
authenticity.
authentication yet. No, yeah, there wasn't yet.
This was the global shipping program, is what it was.
Yeah, this was 2020, wasn't it?
A little bit after, but so it went through the GSP, and they're supposed to like actually, observe the package and apparently put it in their own um, packaging within like set amount of orders, um, whatever it is. They look at the package, and the package made it to GSP just fine, but from GSP to the dude over in Asia somewhere, like the card just absolutely got crushed, and then there was like a giant crack on the entire case, front and back. And it was kind of one of those things too. It's like, well, yeah, now I can, get a refund. Then I have to send it back. But what if the card's damaged? Like it was like really, really big crush. So I'm like, surely the card's got to be damaged. And if PSA does something like that, they actually pay you out the damage. But like eBay's not going to do that. So I really had to fight and find that upper level of management to, basically synthesize with me. synthesize, well, whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so yeah, literally the first lady I got through to, she's like, "Yeah, unfortunately the item's damaged and it arrived damaged, so you just have to do the refund and sorry." And it's like a $2,000 item, and so it's like, well,
Mm-hmm.
that really sucks. But I kept trying, and then this other guy I got, he's like, "Oh, I saw you've been with us since like 2011. We appreciate that, and yeah, let's take a look here." And like
They
he
told me the
was,
same thing. You're not special.
well, he was like, they make you seem like you're being heard,
Yeah, yeah,
and
I know.
they take
I
the
know.
time to like personally look into your case. And he's like, "Well, if you fill out this form stating that you shipped it when it was, not damaged, and it was basically like sign here, I'm telling the truth." He's like, "Sign this and like email me back, and then we'll just give you like we'll honor the sale." And so I'm like, okay, like I gladly did that because I just didn't want to deal with the card. In the end, the original buyer, won. He got to keep the card, um, and I'm pretty sure he got the refund as well. So they refunded the buyer and honored the sale for me, but he got to keep the card. So he could, yeah, do what you did and just,
Mm.
resell it again. So,
Well, I actually kind of like the idea, but I don't know if I want to. I mean, this is a car that's also going to tank, probably bottom out, not tank, but probably bottom out in the low 200s, to be completely honest with you. And, but it's kind of a fun story, too. You know,
mm-hmm.
like I'm not trying to say I'm going to give it like a nostalgia aspect because I also got to look at it objectively. If I do get this freeholdered and say sell it to Yeti, now that'll be interesting, right? It shows up in Yeti, and then Yeti sells it on eBay, and it goes through eBay system. Like, oh, you don't say,
Wow.
But
They're like, did he steal
but
this card? Or
well, there's no way to trace it, no report filed, so they won't do anything with it.
yeah, and in the end, the
But so
card
they,
has to end up somewhere. Like, you got a free Charizard essentially, and then the guy on my end got a free Grand Party.
mm-hmm,
So it's not
yeah,
like eBay's gonna, okay, we have to have the card and we have to destroy the card to refund you both back.
destroyed the one card for the proof. But no, I think that's what I might do. I kind of like the idea, because Vince is moving all of his stuff into his store. He hasn't. I don't either. He's actually generally missing that much inventory of higher end raw cards, or because the last time I checked, he didn't have hardly shit above like $100, and I was like, that can't be right. Or like 200 or 300 bucks or something like that. And I was like, that seems odd for him. And then I saw not too. I was like, it's probably Worlds. And then a few days after that, it's like, oh, they're moving to a larger premises. I was like, oh, that has probably something to do with it too. They've already moved all the big stuff,
I'm pretty sure I
and
saw
then
literally yesterday that they had their first event at the new
yeah,
place.
it was like the grand opening. Yeah, exactly. Like, but what I might do is get the ball rolling maybe later this year, maybe around fall. Go up there and um, kind of see what else I have, see what other whatever junk slabs I have that he'll be willing to take, and maybe have a couple $100 to play with, maybe spend a couple $100 raw. I mean, it worked out last time. I mean, with that damn Pikachu, I mean, it's every time it's worked out so far. Now we're talking just maybe making a couple $100 at best, but you know what? It's making a couple $100.
Yeah, I'd like to go up and see the new store too. Um, I saw they shared a picture of him moving his jumbo cards. He's kind of known to having like quite the jumbo card collection from the OGs.
Yeah, he's got the Sneasel, like
Yeah,
it's like a 4 foot Sneasel or something like that.
remember Dave Person was trying to get one off him. He mentioned him in the podcast, so it's kind of cool to have, someone who's been
Pretty
around
high
that
up there.
long, yeah,
Yeah.
in the hobby so close to us. But
Like I don't realize he was such a big deal. Like, and I realized with my looking back, like I got these Lorcana cards, and looking back, like you kind of thought he might have been speaking a big tune, and I was like, I don't think so, dude. He seemed genuine on everything he was saying about going out to the East Coast, like in Philadelphia or wherever it was, and like buying $1 million collection or something like that. It's like this seemed pretty legit. Like he like would have no reason to lie, you
yeah,
know. Uh, So I thought he was pretty legit, and after kind of seeing him more in the hobby, and I was like, man, he didn't give a rat's ass about those cards, and then,
Yeah. Well, just being name dropped by, Dave Person and DJ Gigabyte, he was around when they were doing stuff back then. It's just kind of impressive to be involved in like the league play and all that way back then. But yeah, that's our little stories. So if you guys have troubles like that, just keep trying. If you get that right person on eBay support, they can be pretty good and pretty forgiving. So
oh, and there's one more story. It's from PSA. This one's good news, and I can't believe it was best case scenario. Just about the Eevee came back at PSA 10 and a PSA 9.
yep, PSA 10 Auto 9.
Yep.
Yep, I got that one back for you, and
Covered in COVID.
I didn't even take it out of the package, though. So
Honestly, at this point, since I have COVID, I've already had COVID. I mean,
yeah,
I might as well just go and get it. But you're still getting better on it.
Figured like when you got here, I'd like open it and then have you like take it out like a sterile item or something.
Yeah.
To where I don't have to touch the box. But
yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna get COVID after I literally just had it. So
yeah, but yeah, that was pretty much best case scenario because we kind of knew the signature. It had that little fading line.
Yeah,
we kind of knew it wasn't going
that
to get a 10.
sucks. If that was a 10-10, I would have thrown that thing up there for $1,000 and see what offers I'd get.
I wish they were a little less harsh on the skid marks of the marker. And
I'm
more
surprised
so
it got a
on
9.
the
To be honest
placement.
with you.
Well, I'm not, because if it just has any broken parts of the line, they dock it.
I thought it was gonna get an 8 because it was kind of clear, but
oh, I see.
yeah, it was a what I think helped it get a 9 potentially was the appeal of the black and red.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
And
they
honestly,
should more grade the appeal, I think. But
yeah, and it was a great appeal. The red went well with the background with all the EVs. It's the EV from Twilight Masquerade. I think I ended up sending, was it 2 EVs I sent? Yeah, it was 2 I sent. Right? Or was it 3?
yeah, I think you sent 2. Todd had 1 too.
Yeah. There's one I think sitting in my modern collection. I think is what's going on. There is a bunch of stuff that, like, there is some raw cards that I bought last convention. I might sell at Yeti Raw because he gives a pretty good deal, and it's pretty straight up. It's like 50% cash or something like that, or no, it was like 70%. I don't know what it was. It kind of varies on what it is, but he gives a good deal with. I think it might have been 60% cash or something like that. But I mean, it's something where it's like, oh, if this is near mint worth grading, I'm going to see if it's worth making a little bit of money.
Uh-huh. Yeah, it's it'd be nice to check out the new store with you and have a couple things. I've been selling my stuff, mostly lower end stuff left, but yeah, we'll have to check that out. But the EV that you had the same EV, the group of EVs on one card from Twilight Masquerade. You sent one in on the normal order, and Todd had one. Both got 9s.
Yeah.
And then the signature one got a 10.
I think I'm going to see what this guy sells for. I mean, I'm going to make money on it since it hit that 10, regardless, even between the signature, the card, and the grading. But I'm kind of curious to see how strong her signature is, because I'm going to put it up there for like 350 and see if I can't get a buyer at 300.
Yeah.
But just because the 10 and 9 is that combination, and it's a new card, I think somebody would buy it and spend a little bit of money, pay a little bit of a premium, because there's not going to be a lot of those cards in the system. So it's interesting because a lot of signature, you weren't going to break even for a lot of these that we saw, but some of them, people literally just got any card of a Flareon or Eevee. It might have been like one from WotC era promo. It was like one of the Eevee promos back from WotC, the one that's like a $3 promo, and it sold for like $40-50. So like literally you lost money. It was just a it wasn't a grade. It was just an authentic for the signature, but like you lost money getting that done.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. And Twilight Masquerade one, it is a great kind of a chase card. So yeah, pretty good there. But guess that's about it for our normal talks. But we did have
Mm-hmm.
some little news to cover. I guess we can cover the world stuff. They did
Mm-hmm.
announce the next 2 locations. We are going to Anaheim.
Cali.
Anaheim in next year. And then the year after that, Cali again. San Francisco.
See, I'm wondering. I already like the day, evening that they announced it. I was like, I wonder if we. I haven't done it yet. I might do a little bit later. Only certain people probably have done it. I'm not worried about the hotel, honestly. But there's got to be a lot of places in San Francisco. There's got to be a bunch of hotels for that. But I would think it would be a good idea to go to the 2026
Yeah.
now, because that's the 30th anniversary. And I assume Gen 10 is going to come out that year too.
Yeah, I would
So
like to make it to one. Like, it'd definitely be worth it, like, even from a money standpoint to go
you
because of
break
all the
even probably.
merch. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's like, I don't know, it's a lot. And it's like just the amount of like stuff you got to deal with the lines. And it's like I would have to put in work just to make like the money back. And like I would want to go just for the experience more than
Yeah.
sitting in the line making the merch. But kind of throws our theory of, West Coast, Europe, Japan out the window. But I think they're getting to the point now where they just have to look at venues and like make a judgment off what makes the most sense. Because these events are just getting huge, and every year I'm sure they're planning on them getting bigger and bigger. So Anaheim and San Francisco are definitely spots that have humongous convention centers that can support this. Um, Start running into places, like Nashville. If they go back there, or Washington D.C., they're big cities, but it's like they might not be equipped for like this humongous scale of a convention. But it's just stuff they got to think of now. I know there's a lot of problems with that on the sports side with the National this year. I think, are they in Cleveland, Ohio this year?
National.
Or where were they?
Was it Chicago?
No, I think they're going back to Chicago. Let me just double check real quick just so I don't get this wrong. But yeah, Cleveland, Ohio. So a lot of people, like, it was pretty much all over YouTube and like all over the news who like follows the convention. Like, Cleveland, Ohio was not built for that size of that event. And everyone had the same opinion. Like, the hobby just outgrew Cleveland, Ohio. So wouldn't be surprised if like they never go back there again. Um, so yeah, that's got to be the issue that like Pokemon's running into. Um, Maybe we'll see a Las Vegas at one point. Just these big cities that can just host that event. So yeah, I think the Nationals going to Chicago, and I think there was even talks of Chicago struggling with the size of the event now. But yeah, there's a whole nother storyline there with like Fanatics Fest, and it being a lot better and more events and stuff. So who knows what the sports card world's gonna be like over the next few years. But yeah, Pokemon is just getting huge, especially since they only have one event per year. On the other hand, you see Collecticons where they're trying to have more events next year. So probably one event per month plus, probably 2 events per month. And it's good and all, but yeah, you're just really spreading the shows. Like, vendors are going to start picking and choosing,
Yeah.
where they go. Whereas events like the National or the Pokemon Worlds is just one huge event every year that everyone tries to get to. So, yeah, it'd be interesting to see. A lot of people were disappointed, especially like Hawaii. You know, a lot of people, LA is kind of a spot that you fly to get to Hawaii a lot of times. So, a lot of people, you know, not to mention a lot of people are from that area, but a lot of people went through LA, kind of experienced a little LA on their way to Hawaii. And yeah, now the next 2 years are going to be in LA. So a lot of people were disappointed, and it's kind of crazy next 2 years. But I'm sure when those 2 years are up, we'll look back and man, it seems like just yesterday we were talking about this. So it goes by quick. So I bet they would go back, you know, early 2027 prediction. They go back to Japan because it'll have been 3 years at that point.
I would guarantee it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if I'll be able to pull that off in 2026, but I mean, because I would like to go to Europe or international for the Go Fest that year. So it's like I don't know if I can pull both.
Yeah.
Especially going out to California, that's not going to be cheap. If New York is brutal in terms of the costs. I imagine San Fran ain't much better. So
Yeah.
you know, so it's like I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.
I like the idea. I really do like the idea of being able to go to one of these, get the merch that year. Because in come 2026, I should be beginning, you know, around that time a new job.
Mm-hmm.
You know, for in my new career. So I'm gonna have more income. You know, like I like the idea. Is all I'm gonna say.
Yeah. What else did they announce? So they did have a hands-on kind of demo for Pokemon TCG Pocket. It was pretty cool. People could actually open packs. Looked to be like a very bare bones version of like what they expect the app to be, but there is a release date. I think they said the 31st, like literally Halloween, wasn't it?
It was the 30th.
The 30th? Yeah. So literally a month away for TCG Pocket. The designs of the cards look really
They're
cool.
cool. Yeah.
Yeah. I guarantee if there's trading, there's going to be like a collecting and market
Honestly,
for them.
this is a game I'm probably gonna start playing.
I
Like
don't think I'll
on
be hardcore collecting, but I
no,
mean,
yeah, for
every
sure.
single day I'll be opening my pack.
Hell yeah, I want my free packs.
Potentially
I
be
mean, if
selling
they're
stuff too.
that's what I'm saying. If this becomes an electronic market where obviously if you bought more packs, but I'm not. I mean, we talked about this before. I'm not going to be spending money to buy virtual packs, at least not anytime soon. But I like the idea of like there's 286 cards in this first set online. Oh
Mm-hmm.
wait, hold on, that's not from. What is that? Is that a different one? No, this is yeah. It appears your name feature 226 cards. You have 286 cards.
Dang. So they going
Yeah,
hard off the get go.
60 secret rares,
Dang.
and I bet there's going to be some insane ones. They're probably gonna come out swinging with that first set, and then we're all gonna be like, "What? Like, well, why aren't you doing this sort of card? Some of these artwork for regular DCG." Um, but just think about the money, the profit margins on this app, right?
Oh yeah.
Because people have gambling issues, right? And people Go is a perfect example. It's being carried by whales essentially, more or less, within the hobby, hardcore players. Now, just imagine having a community like the TCG collecting community of Pokemon. Imagine what that would be like when it comes to the money being thrown through this.
Uh-huh. Yeah, it's gonna get crazy, and yeah, if it's anything like MTG Arena, like Magic the Gathering, I I feel like I am extremely frugal, especially with stuff like that. Like I really try to spend nothing or as little as possible. And I've even spent like, I bought packs like one time on MTG Arena. But just the amount of people I know who buy stuff like that, you know, Fortnite, it's one of the highest grossing games of all time. It's free. They make all their money off the V-Bucks and the store. Um, so they've made a really good battle pass system for digital goods. MTG Arena, you buy digital packs, but also in those packs you get like special cards that let you unlock a rare of any type. Like every 6 packs that you buy, you get like a rare token, and you can claim that rare token for any rare that you want. So it kind of incentivizes you to, well, I just need this one rare. I'm probably not going to get it out of one pack. But if I buy 2 more packs, then I can guarantee it because I'll get that token. So there's going to be some of that stuff for sure. It would really take off if they somehow implemented the NFT type world where they had like, okay, limited issue, there's only, I don't even know the normal print numbers, but there's only going to be 50,000 of this card or 10,000 of this card. And they actually had the same print numbers as a normal set. That would be really cool. I don't know if I want that. But it would definitely be a huge success, no doubt, because people would just eat that up. But yeah, I'll be opening my daily pack and semi-collecting sets, and that'll probably be about it. Don't know if I'll actually be seriously collecting or anything like that, but...
but I might, who knows, I can see myself throwing like $20 into it, honestly. Like,
well, the cool aspect though is that there's going to be battling where it's going to be like
yeah.
mini deck battles with like three cards on the bench or something like that, probably with less prize cards. So that's where I would spend money on the game. Like if I actually got into playing the TCG, which, on Magic I did that. That's why I spent some money on MTG Arena. It's because I needed to make a few decks and like deck them out. But once I make a few decks, then I'm like done spending money. Like those are still the decks I play with because I don't just want to keep spending money. So I might make a few decks and maybe spend a little money making those just so I have a few to play with and then just stick to that. But yeah, I don't know. It'll be pretty cool though if it still has like the playing the TCG experience with that. So we'll see. Anything else you wanted to mention with that, or?
No, not too much. I'm more excited for the artwork of the cards.
Yeah.
And then just being able to play casually.
Yeah, artwork looks pretty cool. So yeah, we'll see that soon, a month from now. Speaking of art, I guess the last thing we have to talk about, they kind of teased the Rocket set. And
a little bit.
Yeah, and the return of the trainer cards. So that's kind of a thing. They showcased, I think it was like definitely In. They really showcased In pretty heavily.
Clefairy.
Yeah, they showed Lily, Lily's Clefairy, In's Reshiram. They also showed like an alt art of In's Reshiram, which is like amazing. And probably already one of my favorite cards of all time. Like I'll definitely be getting multiple of those. But what else did they show?
Is it a secret rare?
I'm sure it's
say.
like an alt art.
Yeah, it doesn't say. I assume it's an SAR.
Yeah. And they showed like a Marnie card as well. So yeah, it's definitely going to be
simps out here.
Yeah.
With their wife too. You got Lily. Yeah. Look at that. They're paying attention to some of the cards. Lily, you know that card that's like expensive as hell, and a lot of people going after it. And the tournament card, people are they're paying attention to that.
Yeah.
And then obviously you have Iono, and then Marnie. That's not a coincidence. That's not a coincidence. That's all I'm saying.
Well, an In is basically like the male version of those guys. Like, if there's any male crushes, it's In. So, sorry for all the coughing. Hopefully, this isn't bugging too many people, but yeah, that's going to be a crazy set. It's going to be interesting to see the demand for those and the prices of those. When they've done them in the past, there hasn't been any like crazy markup, but the fact that they're doing the alt arts too, I mean, that's going to be pretty nuts.
So it's probably not going to come out till first Japanese set 2025. So that's Battle Partners. So February probably.
Yeah, yeah, it'll
That's kind
be.
of what I'm for English. That's kind of what I'm thinking. I might have to get some. I might have to. I'm kind of surprised this didn't come out honestly this year.
Yeah, yeah, it'll be exciting. I was gonna say something else too. What was I gonna say? Oh yeah, there was a lot of focus on In specifically. Um, you know, he being one of the probably the most popular character aside from Red to anyone who's played, you know, Black and White. But Black and White, they're kind of due for remakes, so maybe
Mm.
they're playing heavy on In to be like,
And
okay, next
it
year
would
would
make
be the year.
sense. Yeah, and it would make sense because they're coming out with the what's it called? Not the RCS game, but the Zygarde, the Zeta A.
Yeah, yeah,
So
they're
and they did that. They did the RCS um with the Diamond or the Platinum remakes.
it is weird
So
though,
it
like because like ZA that'd be X and Y, but maybe they did that because they're planning on something different for Black and White. Maybe they'll do like Black and White remakes, and then you know, Black and White
was
remakes, and then the ZA as
I say it's
something
too early
separate.
for the XY remakes. I feel like
Yeah, but we'll see.
So
Guess that's really all I had to talk about, though. Unless you had something else.
I did have the Gigantamax coming in Pokemon Go.
Yeah.
That's coming like next week, but
Yeah, they did kind of tease that at Worlds, and then yeah, we have the official announcement. But I mean, I'm sure it's
I
gonna
mean,
be like a mega type mechanic.
I would love if it walks around like it's like your buddy, and it's massive. I don't think they've shown anything yet, but I would just love if that's the case.
Yeah, that would
It's
be pretty
like,
funny.
yeah, that'd be pretty fun. It's like it's like Godzilla. So like T-Tar or like somebody like that would be great.
Yeah, I don't know what they'll do with that. I mean, I assume it's gonna be like megas. If it's just gonna be another, hey, like do this Dynamax or Gigantamax raid, and you know you can Gigantamax them for a bonus, it'll be kind of But especially because they haven't released all the megas, it's like, man, they are really stretching it
Almost.
out.
I was just looking this morning actually. I think there's obviously both Mewtwo's, and there's missing four. I think.
Or they had, you know, they brought back Beldum Community Day. Like, why don't they tie that?
Metagross, yeah, I don't think. I think it's both Mewtwo's, Metagross, and something else.
It's like, why didn't they tie that into an event?
Yeah. Well, they're saving the Mewtwo's for a big event. That's clear. And I don't know. I don't know what event that would be. I mean, I could see them saving it for the 10-year anniversary of Pokemon.
Yeah.
I could see them go hard and be like, here's one of the Megas, and then here's Arceus.
Yeah, possibly. But anyway, I better get off here and wither away in my bed as I cough all night. But
Audino. No, it's the Audino. I don't think's out yet either.
oh yeah, I forgot about that one.
Yeah, no. I think it's Audino. Yeah, it's Audino. So that's probably a Valentine's Day thing next year.
Yeah.
Audino, both Mewtwo's, and the Metagross, and that's it. But yeah. Wither away.
All right. Well, we'll catch you guys in the next one, and hopefully we'll be over all the coughing by then. But yeah, we'll see you then.
Peace. Not dead yet.